On day before yesterday, on December 8th, we received a call from the FBI National Threat Operations Center, as well as two local FBI agents here out of the Tyler resident office, of potential school shooting at a local high school, being Winona High School here in Smith County. We immediately began working on the investigation with two FBI agents, and which led us to a suspect. Suspect was Tyler Austin Tate, who has since been arrested on a third-degree felony charge of terroristic threat. We did find substantial information which led us to believe that the threat could be imminent. We're in the process now of talking to the superintendent and principal and teachers at the high school, as well as law enforcement at Winona Independent School District, and are in the process of notifying the parents of the potential victims. So, which I believe there were 6 of them. So we're still in the process. As of just a few minutes ago, we had not yet been able to make contact. So I've sent the detectives out to the residents to see if they can make contact. Even though the suspect is still in jail, we don't believe they're under any threat at this time. But that's pretty much all I can tell you. This thing, from looking at it, seems to have gone back a little farther than what we at first were led to believe, and really believe we should have been contacted about this much sooner than we were. But we'll deal with that. But I do want everybody to know, here at the Smith County Sheriff's Office, any potential threat toward any student or anyone, we will always take seriously. If you don't mean it, don't say it, because you will be dealt with and dealt with swiftly. Excuse me, dealt with swiftly. So that's about all I can give you that you don't already have. You already have a copy of the mugshot, but I will open up to any questions. I will answer any questions if I can. But a lot of this we're not letting out, obviously for obvious reasons. Everybody hadn't been notified. And I believe at some point the court, the affidavit resides at the 114th District Court. And I will say that the warrant was issued by 114th State District Judge Austin Reeve Jackson, who set bond at $1 million, and Mr. Tate is still incarcerated in the Smith County Jail. So I'll open it for any questions, and I'll answer them if I can.
And sir, just to talk on a more broader scale, it seems like in the past months we've seen a lot of these happen, potential incidents, and then some actual incidents, unfortunately, here in East Texas and also, across the country. Why do you think we're seeing a trend?
Well, from what I've seen, the way back when school shootings first started, and I've worked a couple when I was with ATF before being sheriff of Smith County. I've worked one in Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. I worked a church shooting in Fort Worth. Worked many shootings like that. But what tends to happen is when you have national news, which presents another act such as this, it always spurs further action like that by our youth, unfortunately. We've got a lot of troubled youth. It seems like, I don't know if it's just more in the media now of the trouble, or if we see it more in law enforcement now for obvious reasons, or if there's just more troubled youth out there. I believe it's the latter. And we deal with it obviously every day in the Smith County Jail. I tell people quite often, the largest mental hospital in the state of Texas is not a mental hospital, it's the Harris County Jail. And the largest one in Smith County obviously is the Smith County Jail. So we deal with that all the time, and it just seems to be more of it nowadays than there has been in the past. Of course, I've been in law enforcement 45 years, and back when I started it was very little, but it's just every day you see something in the national news or local news even about something like this happening. And again, I think it's just the aftermath, and then it gets other kids, troubled youth, thinking about things like that, and there's all different kinds of reasons that obviously don't need to get into here because it's just what our own personal thoughts about why they act out like that.
You mentioned 6 parents were to be contacted.
Yes.
What can you say, and I know it's ongoing investigation, what can you say about evidence found or led you to tell us about the number of 6 parents?
Well, it started by somebody who made an anonymous phone call to the FBI National Center. We began working with FBI, tracing it forward, and obviously we would not have made an arrest if we had not had probable cause to believe the act was about to be, or possibly could be committed. The elements of the offense were obviously present, or we would not have made an arrest, would not have gotten an arrest warrant. So, out of abundance of caution, and we moved swiftly. We worked until we came to enough evidence to make the arrest. And again, we believe the proper thing to do is to contact the parents, even though the suspect is still in jail. They need to know, and they need to be contacted in person to let them know what the threat was, where they can keep a closer eye on their children.
Are you able to share some of the credible threats that you all mentioned that led to the arrest?
As any specific information I can't share, it is part of the affidavit. Once the affidavit is released to you, you'll be able to get it, but out of abundance of caution, until all the parents are notified, we don't think we're looking at anybody working in concert with this individual, but that's always a potential possibility. So because of that, I don't want to share anything pertinent until they're notified.
And sir, because we talked earlier about how we're seeing this more and more, unfortunately, like what kind of protocols can the school take? Because I feel like you could get, muddled up. Somebody could say one thing, another person could say another thing. How do you know, okay, we need to jump on this?
Well, obviously the school employees are in the business of educating our youth. We're in the business of protecting our youth. I would hope that schools would, if they had any inkling whatsoever, we would rather be called and not needed than needed and not called in law enforcement. So anything like that, you're not bothering us by letting us know something's afoot, and it needs to be investigated, because how many times have we seen, especially down in Florida several years back, the FBI had information that they withheld, or it was said they withheld. I don't know if they did or not, but it didn't get fast enough and they had a school shooting that killed numerous kids. So we take it seriously. If you don't mean it, don't say it. Just because you're mad at somebody, don't say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because it could be perceived to be a terroristic threat, especially if you go through other channels and do other things to come to a culmination of being an offense of the penal code. Because anytime that happens, out of abundance of caution, if we have the probable cause, you're going to be arrested. Anything else?
I think I'm done.
All right. You need to put your tripod lower.
I know. Sorry. I did have
Glad we're not live. Larry, would you get her a stool?
Just keep us updated.
We'll do it. We'll do it. I don't foresee, probably with that kind of bond, I don't foresee getting out anytime in the near future. But if that does happen, y'all be the first to know, because we also want to work with the media in situations like this. For instance, had we had a suspect we weren't able to locate him, which we had here 2 or 3 years ago. We had a situation where we had a suspect similar to this, and we couldn't locate him. We reached out to the media, and y'all helped us locate him. So we'll obviously let you know if we come up with anything that can be released.
one more question.
No, I'm finished.
So there seems to be somewhat of a pattern of these almost school shootings happening in East Texas. All the law enforcement in the area is doing a pretty good job about stopping it before it happens and taking it serious. What all do you all try to do to stop these threats before they occur?
Well, we can't stop the threat is what keys us that there needs to be an investigation started. So, but any time we get any information which comes via Facebook or any social media, we obviously take it seriously. Many times somebody that sees it other than outside law enforcement will contact us, but many times the law enforcement we find it ourselves. And there's certain things that just don't need to be said, that I'm going to do this or that to harm someone, because we have to take it seriously. If we don't take it seriously, we're being Monday morning quarterback because we didn't take it seriously. But out of abundance of caution, that's the way we do our business here. If it fits the statute, it's against the law, you're going to be arrested. And that's the only, we'll sort it out after that. But so the parents need to make sure that their children know not to be even teasing about things like that. That's like when you get on an airplane and you start talking about a bomb. We're going to take it just as seriously as if something like that happens. So, especially if that was the case after 9/11. But school shootings happen all the time. We're not exempt from them happening or occurring here in Smith County or any surrounding area. So we would rather prevent them than be working the unfortunate incident where we have our children injured or even killed here in Smith County. And we're going to do everything we can in law enforcement to prevent that.